Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to all our participants. We are thrilled to have you here for this Skillveda webinar. At Skillveda, our mission is to empower your growth through accessible, high-quality learning experiences, from certification courses to hands-on training sessions. Skillveda is our partner in skill development, offering a wide range of webinars, offline workshop, short-term courses, and training programs. In today's webinar on lesson planning and curriculum development, we will explore how to craft effective lesson plans, align them with curriculum goal, and use strategies to engage student and assess learning outcomes. We are fortunate to be joined by Ms. Monica, a seasoned education consultant and CBSE resource person. With more than 15 years of experience, she has empowered countless educators and students. Get ready to tap into her expertise and take away valuable insights. Welcome, Ms. Monica.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, respected educators. Gives me immense pleasure to warmly welcome you all. I can see many distinguished educators, school leaders, and participants in today's webinar. Thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedules to join us for this important and engaging session. We know that education is constantly evolving, and as educators, we also play a vital role in shaping meaningful learning experiences for our students. And in today's webinar, it aims to provide the valuable insights, practical strategies, and also some fresh perspectives that you can apply in your classrooms and in institutions. We are really truly honored to have such a dedicated community of professionals who have gathered here this evening, all committed to continuous learning and excellence in education. I encourage every one of you to actively participate and share your thoughts in the chat and make the most of the collaborative learning opportunity. Okay, so without any further delay, let us begin today's session. I hope you find it informative, inspiring, and also enriching. Thank you once again for being here, and I wish all you a wonderful learning experience ahead. Okay, so you're all able to see the slide, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so yeah, so today okay, today, okay, so in today's rapidly changing educational landscape, lesson planning and curriculum development are no longer a routine paperwork. Do you all accept this? Yes.
Yes,
So yeah, they are powerful, right? They are very powerful tools that shape the student's success. With CBSE and NEP 2020, they are empathizing on the competency-based education. Our focus must shift from simply completing the syllabus to ensuring a deep and meaningful learning. So, in modern classrooms, planning is not about finishing the syllabus, it's about ensuring learning happens there. So, we need to provide a meaningful learning there. Now, I have a question for you all. A curriculum should be static and rigid, or it should be dynamic and flexible, or it should be teacher centered or exam oriented. Which one do you think a curriculum should be of?
Dynamic and flexible.
Very good, dynamic and flexible. So, yes, it should be dynamic and flexible. So, without having it dynamic and flexible, we cannot ensure that every student is able to learn that. So, it should have some differentiation. Everything should be incorporated in the curriculum, right? So, what is curriculum development? How we can do this curriculum development that we are going to see today? Okay, so let us begin by understanding what an effective curriculum development looks like in modern classroom. So this slide shows what is a curriculum development, what are the key stages in the process of this curriculum development. So what is a curriculum development is a systematic process of planning, learning experiences to desired student competencies. So here there are 5 stages in that. So first one is need for assessment. So at this stage, we identify the learning needs of every student and their expectations, and we analyze the gaps in the current learning, the student abilities, and also future requirement. In simple terms, we can say that what do the learners actually need to learn in this curriculum? And then we are setting goals and objectives for this. This is very crucial because the objectives we are setting should be specific and measurable. And also the goals, we know they are broad aims, but the objectives that we set is very important because that tells what should the student be able to do after the learning. And then designing the curriculum. So once the goal is set, we are designing the curriculum. Here we plan the content, learning experiences, then the teaching strategies and the assessment methods also. Then we decide with the sequence of topics and ensure the alignment with the learning objectives. So this is like a blueprint or the structure of the entire curriculum. Then implementation is like at this stage, the planned curriculum is put into action in the classroom. Teachers may deliver the lessons using resources and try to engage the students through appropriate pedagogies. So this is also a difficult step, right? This is where the planning meets the practice. And then the last step is evaluation. After everything is done, we are evaluating the effectiveness of the curriculum through students' performance, teacher feedback, and we will identify whether anything to be improved at this stage. So this is like a stage where we do continuous improvement of the curriculum. So remember, curriculum development is a continuous cycle. So evaluation often leads to reassessing the needs and refining the curriculum further. Okay, so I have another question for you all. What makes a curriculum relevant? It follows global trends, it meets student and societal needs, it's designed by expert, it's textbook driven. Okay, most of you are saying it meets the student and societal needs.
Student and societal needs, ma'am. B.
Yeah,
Option B.
yeah, correct. So nowadays we know our teaching is completely student centered. So we have made a transition to modern education system from the traditional ways, right? So in modern education, the curriculum is not just about what to teach, but also why to teach and how to assess the learning. So CBSE strongly promotes the competency-based learning and also experiential pedagogy, then holistic development, overall development of the children, and also integration of the skill and values. Now we have skill-based learning also, which is incorporated along with the lesson plan. Not only with the lesson plan, even in the PE classes you can see, in the assembly classes you can see. So the skill and values are also given lot of focus in the curriculum. Therefore, our planning must begin with learning outcomes, but not the textbook pages. Okay. Okay. So which element is crucial in curriculum development? Teacher's preference, student needs and learning outcome, availability of the resources, or school infrastructure.
Ma'am, it's student needs and learning outcomes.
Very good. It is the student needs and learning outcomes. So learning outcomes itself is designed with an objective for student needs, right? Okay. Now, okay. So curriculum development cycle. So this is a continuous cycle which has some important points in it. So first, we need to find the analysis. We begin by understanding the learner needs, the gaps, and the context. Then we define our learning objectives. Next, we clearly state what students should know and be able to do. Okay. Then content organization. This is very important. We select and sequence the content logically to achieve those outcomes. For example, today you are in Unit 1. Next day, if we go to Unit 8, maybe Unit 8 and Unit 1 are not correlated. But in case if you are switching to Unit 8, the entire content may lose the basics there. So you have to go according to the sequence. That is more important. Then pedagogy selection. After that, we choose some teaching and learning strategies, whichever suits the children there. And then assessment design. So this should also align with the learning outcomes. And the last point is review and feedback. So here we finally evaluate the effectiveness and gives feedback to improve the curriculum. And remember, this cycle then repeats again for continuous improvement. So in CBSE, you know, the competency-based approach We start with learning outcomes and align everything else to them only. Okay. So learning outcomes comes first in CBSE. Okay. Okay, now about lesson planning. So this is one of the biggest headache for most of the educators. But believe me, this is not that big headache. When you put lot of efforts on this, it's going to be, your classes are going to be more interesting and you will love that teaching. Okay. So an effective lesson plan is a well-designed lesson plan that acts as a roadmap for a successful teaching, right? So an effective lesson plan should include clear, measurable objectives. You should be very clear about what you are going to teach there. And it should engage a starter, a motivation for the student. And then some differentiation should be there, right? You should not use the same type of instruction. You should use different types of instruction to attract all the learners. Not every individual in the classroom is unique. So give some differentiated instruction to gain the attention of everyone. And then use formative assessments. I hope you all know what is formative assessments, right? Can you just type what is formative assessment? Is it given during the class session or at the end of the term?
Formative assessment is a continuous process, ma'am. Continuous assessment.
Yeah,
Whereas
continuously we are
summative is
assessing.
collection of a term or 3 month learning will be assessed.
Yeah, very good. So we can also use this formative assessment once the class is over, the session is over. We can give formative assessments of any type, which could be oral, quiz, or any small assessments, okay, to evaluate the progress of the children. And at the end of the lesson plan, it should have a meaningful closure. What is the meaning of that word, meaningful closure?
The plenary.
Yeah, the summary of the lesson. It should have a meaningful closure. For example, any of your students have misconception about a particular topic. That misunderstanding should be closed in that session. So it should have a meaningful session. So every session should be set in such a way that you are able to complete that topic. If you are moving forward that topic to the next day, it means the goal of the goal is not measured in the lesson plan. Okay. So your lesson plan should have a particular goal. It should be measurable. It should within the time. Even it could be a small topic, no matter, but it should be within that time. Or if you take a big topic and putting it for one day, you cannot complete that. You are moving to the next day. That itself shows the failure of the lesson plan. Okay. So activity does not always mean learning. Okay. So assessment tells learning happened. Okay. Now, what is the primary goal of the lesson planning? To complete the syllabus quickly, to engage the students effectively, to reduce teaching workload, or to conduct the assessment.
To
Ma'am, to
engage
engage
students
students effectively.
effectively.
Very good. So to engage, motivation is a key role in lesson planning, right? If you do not engage your children, you cannot grab their attention and you cannot help them learn that, right? Okay. Now, what are the essential components of a lesson plan? We have already discussed. It should be specific, measurable, competency based, and student focused, not teacher focused. Okay. For example, a CBSE style of competency based question is like explain the process of photosynthesis using a diagram. So here, the word explain means you have to tell the reason why photosynthesis takes place with a diagram. Okay, so these are some of the questions, competency-based questions we are giving to check the understanding level of the students. So in a lesson plan, you should also involve all these questions. Okay, what is the purpose of learning outcomes in the lesson plan? To confuse the students, to guide teaching and assessment, to increase syllabus coverage, or to reduce teaching time.
To
To
guide
guide
teaching.
teaching and assessment.
Very good. To guide the teaching and assessment, right? Okay. So what does SMART stand for in lesson plan? A lesson plan should be very smart. What is the meaning of the SMART, you think?
It's A.
Option
Yeah.
A, ma'am.
Yeah. Why do you think a
Ma'am,
lesson plan
space.
should be smart?
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound.
Yeah, time bound. Okay. So within that time, are we able to complete the goal that we have set? Is it relevant? The learning outcome is relevant. Okay, is it specific? So all these things we have to check before making a lesson plan. Okay. Now, starter or engagement activity. This is like only a 5-minute session during a lesson, but it plays a very crucial role. So the purpose is to activate the prior knowledge. Okay. So we can give some kind of starter activities like think, pair, share, and visual prompt like this, or quick MCQ poll where the children can vote, and also some real life questions, some application based questions you can give. Even some teachers, they use some videos. Using that videos, they check the previous knowledge of the student. And I hope you know about this think, pair, share session, right? So this is what to say. In the step one, what the students will do is they will do an individual reflection, and then they discuss in the pairs. The participants, they discuss their response with the partner, and then they share the whole group. They invite the pairs to share the key points with the larger group. So when they collect a lot of ideas, they are able to know the content very well. So in this, okay. And also we can use some descriptive visual presentation. This is normally used by English teachers to find some verbs or to collect some new ideas. Okay. Now I have a question for you all. Which approach focuses on student-centered learning? Traditional approach, activity-based approach, lecture-based approach, or textbook-based approach?
Activity based. Based approach.
Very good. It is activity-based. Yeah. So even in different subjects, it could, for example, I'm teaching biology. So every class I have to incorporate some activity into that subject. So we have laboratory. We also take them for field trips. So many activities we do in a classroom to engage them in the lesson, which could be lower grades or higher grade, no matter. Everyone needs activity, right? Okay. Now, talking about the teaching learning process. So, in a teaching learning process, once the starter is over, we go for teaching learning process. Here, we explain the topic, we give some demonstration. For example, if I'm teaching about photosynthesis, I may demonstrate what is photosynthesis using a video or using an experiment. And then I guide them with questioning. During the teaching process, I may quickly ask some random questions so that the children, we can ensure that children are not sleeping in the classroom, and also they will answer, they will actively, some students, right? Then we can also involve some peer discussion. We may give some quick questions and ask the peers to discuss among themselves and come up with an answer. This promotes a healthy discussion in the classroom. And also activity based learning while teaching can also be incorporated. So CBSE is nowadays expecting for an experiential learning. Okay, like olden days, it's not traditional, it is completely experiential learning. Okay. And also in Montessori, nowadays, what they are doing, they are carefully designing some activities and keeping it in the classroom. So the small children, they go and pick which activity they need. So they have a choice of activities. So these kinds of ideas also we can do in experiential learning so that children can choose what activity they need. Okay. Okay, then differentiation. So this is very highly valued in observation, especially when management, they come and observe your classes. They value these kinds of differentiation. So way to differentiate, how we can differentiate is by content. Okay, so for example, different topics have different types of contents. So we can simplify the topic maybe by concept map, flow chart, something like that. So how you're going to deliver the content, and the process is how we are engage the students. That is the process, maybe through group work or by scaffolding is like you start from step 1 and then you go to step 10. Directly you cannot go to step 10, so you have to break the content and then you have to go according to the sequence, that we call it a scaffolding. Then byproduct, what is the product that is given by the student based on this differentiation? Different students give different products. For example, if I give a project to the student, not every student do it in the same way. They have their different unique thinking level capacity. So they give different products. Okay. So this we call it as differentiation in CBSE curriculum. Okay. And why differentiated instruction? because learners, there are different learners in the classroom, right? Approximately a CBSE school can have 30 to 40 students in a classroom. So everyone is unique, right? They come from different background. Especially if you go to abroad and work, you will see a lot of different students. So when you are not tailoring the class according to the individual student needs, you cannot meet with the differentiation in the class, right? Differentiation plays a very important role for gaining the attention and provoking the interest in the student, right? Then checking understanding. So this is what we learn, formative assessment. So I used to give this exit ticket in my class most of the times. My student love exit ticket. So in exit ticket, we can have some three content, like what is the interesting fact they learned and the things you learned during this. Okay, and questions you have, any questions you have can also be given here. Then mini whiteboards can also be given. This is among the small kindergarten students where they can write, and even primary, lower primary, we can give this lower primary, we can give this kind of whiteboards where they can write any hard spellings there. And sometimes it can also be put over the board and check the level of the students. Okay. Then oral questioning at the end of the session, and also a quick quiz can be given. And in case if there are lot of students in the class, we cannot collect all the papers and correct. We don't get time. We can do this peer assessment. This is a wonderful way. When one peer correct the other peer's assessment, this peer will know what are the what are the confusion the other peer has, so they can pair up and share their ideas with the other one. So this way, it makes a healthy discussion among the children. Okay. And then last one is closure or reflection. So you can use this 3-2-1 reflection method. 3 things I learned today, 2 things I found interesting, and 1 thing I still have doubt. So using this closer activity, we can actually know what is the doubt of each children. Okay. Some children, they feel very shy and
Monica
timid.
ji,
Yes,
Anita
ma'am.
ji is asking something. She is writing, please explain exit ticket once again.
Okay, fine.
हाँ
Exit
मैम
ticket.
एग्जिट टिकट का समझ में नहीं आया, एक बार फिर बता दीजिए प्लीज.
Yeah, sure, sure. Okay, exit ticket is like when you are about to close the session, okay, you can give some exit ticket. Okay, exit ticket is like a paper you can give to the students, and the student will write like what they have learned that day. Okay, and they can write some interesting facts they learned. You can give any 3 questions also in the exit ticket to avoid any kind of misconception or misunderstanding in the students. Sometimes I give in my exit ticket yes or no questions, so that I will know if there is any confusion topics. By answering yes or no, I can know whether the student has completely understood the topic or not. So this avoid misconception. At the same time, we can also keep a track of what the student is learning in the class during the end of the session through this formative assessments. Okay, exit ticket is nothing but you give some questions to the students, some quick questions, not much. Okay, so through this we can evaluate the progress of the students in every session. Okay, you understand? Okay, fine. Then closure, as I said, 3-1 is an effective way of showing the reflection. Then 1 minute summary. You can randomly pick one child and ask them to, say the key points during that session, which may take only 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. And sometimes we can use concept map. In case of biology, for classification of plants, animals, that is a very big topic where we can use these concept maps. So this will easily break down the content and give a clear idea of from where these organisms came from, all these things. Then as I said, you misconception check also we can do along with the exit ticket, where we can incorporate true or false questions or not sure questions like that. So we can avoid the confusion among the students and we can help with their misunderstandings. Okay. Okay, I have a question for you. What is the key benefit of effective lesson plan? Sorry. What is the key benefit? Sorry.
Management.
Ma'am, to improve classroom management.
Yeah, once again, I'll show you the question first. Okay, so we have completed till this. Okay. Now, what is the key benefit of effective lesson plan? It reduced student engagement, improved
Improved
classroom
classroom
management.
management, ma'am.
Yeah.
Improved
Why
classroom
do you think
management.
an effective lesson plan can improve the classroom management?
Because time will be used effectively. What are the steps of a lesson plan, everything will be covered and time will be managed effectively.
Yeah, and also we can promote a healthy discussion among the children. Children will not get distracted from the topic, right? So
Ma'am,
this will
also
promote.
it uses the same pattern which you have given in the beginning, that is SMART. We are very specific and ending with the time bound.
Yeah, especially that is good. Yeah. Okay, now we will see some lesson plan models here. Okay, so teachers can use multiple lesson plan models. The first important model that we use widely is 5E model. Okay, this is especially for the inquiry-based learning. So the 5E means engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So this we call it as 5E instructional model. So this is best for experiential and inquiry learning. So here we have 5 important steps, as I have already told you. So engage means it shows the real life problem. It captures the student interest and also it sparks the curiosity in the children by posing some questions to them or giving them some scenario to solve. It will spark the curiosity, right? And during this session, it is very important you are not going to tell the topic what you are going to teach because if you tell the topic, immediately the curiosity will be lost. Okay. And the next one is explore. This is where the student is given some activity, any kind of hands on investigation or a group work, something like that. So students start to discover on their own, and this can promote the active learning in the classroom. Okay. Then explain. Teacher will explain the concept, clarifies that, and also introduce some correct terminology to that. So this can also address the misconception and helps in conceptual understanding. Okay. Then elaborate. So this is like application where you can give some higher order thinking task and also apply learning to the new situations, then make some real world connections, and while you elaborate along with the application, it deepen and also extend the learning of the student. Okay. And the last one is evaluate. This is assessment. Okay, so this is mainly done to check the understanding level of the student by giving some formative or summative assessments. Sometimes we can also do peer assessments in the class. This can give the opportunity of the children to self-assess themselves, right? This can also measure the learning outcomes. Okay, whether we have achieved that learning outcome or not, that we can check using these kinds of assessments. So the 5A model shifts the classroom from the teacher-centered to the student-centered learning. This is what exactly a modern classroom in CBSE needs, right? Okay, and the second important model is Bloom's taxonomy. This is also a very old model that we are planning in our pedagogy for a very long time. And this is very important for cognitive processing. Okay, here, as the Bloom taxonomy moves on, it's a framework that classifies the learning objectives from lower order thinking to the higher order thinking skills. So, as we move up the pyramid, the level of cognitive complexity increases. So, here you can see different levels. Okay, the first one is remembering. Remembering is lots. Lots means lower order thinking. So in this way, the children will recall the basic concepts they learned, the facts they learned. For example, some questions like list the parts of the plant. This is like remembering. Whatever they remember, they just recollect and answer it. Then the second one is understanding. So this is like explaining ideas or describing or summarizing something, right? For example, explain the function of root. This is based upon the understanding. And the third one is applying. You use your knowledge in new situations. For example, solving something. You apply your knowledge and solve something or demonstrate something. Classify the plants based on their roots. This is like application based question. Okay. Then analyzing. This is like giving some competency based questions, like higher order thinking questions. So here we break the children will break the information into parts. Some kinds of competency based or analyzing based question is like compare maybe taproot with fibrous root system. This is one of the analyzing questions. And then evaluating is like justify a decision or opinion. So here, children will justify based upon what they know. Which root system is better for dry soil? Justify. Okay, something like that. Then creating is this is the highest ever level. This increases the most difficulty. So here the children will produce a new or original work of themselves. Here they may design an experiment or construct something or develop something. Okay. So an effective lesson plan should move the students progressively from remembering to creating. So this is where the real learning will happen. Okay. I have a question for all of you. At which level do most of your classroom questions falls? Okay, can I get the answers? At which level do most of your classroom question currently fall? Is it lots or hots?
Ma'am, mostly it is
Thoughts, ma'am.
thoughts, ma'am.
Okay,
Thoughts. And but
ताकत के
to
ऊपर
reach
depend करता
hots
है
level, we need to be strong with the lots level first.
okay.
It also depends upon the concept what we teach.
Hmm. Okay, so whatever you teach, it depends. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So the third model, okay, this is backward design model. This is a modern approach, okay. So this is like an outcome focused planning. So here we call this as another name is UBD method. UBD means understanding by design. So here it focuses on planning lessons by starting with the end in the middle, with the end in the mind. Okay, so we are keeping the end in the mind. So instead of beginning with the activities, teachers first decide what students should ultimately understand. So in the stage one, you can see we are actually identifying the desired results. Okay, like what should the student know? Okay, and be able to do, like define the learning outcomes and big ideas. So whether they are aligning with the curriculum standards or not. So identifying desired result is nothing but what is the learning goal is about. Okay, and then determine the accepted evidence is like how will learning be measured. Okay, so we may create some success criteria, rubrics, and design some assessments, and we will know like how the learnings can be measured. Okay, it could be of your choice based upon your students. And then the last one is plan learning experiences and instruction. So here the we have to choose teaching strategies, and then we have to design some engaging learning activities. Then we have to sequence the lesson effectively. So here, what learning experiences will lead to success? Okay. So backward design is like it prevents the activity driven teaching and ensures every classroom task is purposefully aligned to learning goals. So here with backward design, we are only keeping the end in the mind. Okay. And then the next one is, okay. I have a question. In your current practice, do you usually start planning with activities or with the learning outcomes?
learning
With the
outcomes.
learning outcomes, ma'am.
Learning outcomes. Okay. So do you have a habit of writing the learning outcomes in the board?
Yes, ma'am.
We
We
do
have
write.
learning
Yes,
objective,
ma'am, we do.
which
Yes,
we used
ma'am,
to
we
write it on the
discuss
board.
भी.
So we have a lot of great educators here. Okay. Then the last one is gradual release method. Okay, so this is one of the loveliest method I like very much. Okay, so here we have three important things. It's a mantra, okay? This is I do, we do, and you do. So here the gradual release is like a teaching framework that shifts the responsibility from the teacher to the student in a structured way, and thus building some independence in the students in a step-by-step manner. So the first one here is focus on the lesson and modeled instruction. So here teacher does most of the work. Okay, teacher demonstrate the skill, think aloud strategies, and then students they observe and then listen. Okay, so here it is completely of teacher's work. Teacher have to clarify the things. Okay, then the second one is the shared instruction. Shared instruction is like the teacher and students they together work and they build some interactive discussion. Maybe a teacher can give some work to students and can guide them. Okay, so this is guided practice where the students work with the teacher support. So teachers will be giving some assistance and monitors give some feedback to the students and thus help in scaffolding the learning. Okay, so here it is like building competence in the students. Okay, collaboratively. And then the last one is independent practice. This is the place where the student is set free and the student takes full responsibility. They become completely independent. They'll be given an individual task. For example, giving homework to home. The student has to do it independently at home, right? So this shows the reflection and self-assessment of the student. Student can self-assess when they were given that independence. Okay. So an effective teaching is not about telling, it's about gradually releasing responsibility to the learners so they become independent thinkers, right? So, at which stage do your students spend most of the class time? Model, guided, or independent?
Independent, ma'am.
Independent. Okay. So, you're giving so much of homeworks. Okay, good.
Sometimes
Fine.
it is a research work, ma'am, depending upon the topic. If it demands a collaborative project, we give the topic and the children, they indulge in the research work. Then we
Okay,
discuss the
good.
outcome. So it works according to the topic, ma'am.
Yeah, usually this a lot of homework is given by maths teachers, right? They need lot of this self-assessment by the students. And also we can use this kind of gradual release method for many skill teachings like karate, many skills like dance, drama, whatever the skills the children is learning. We can use these kinds of skill teachings. Okay. Okay. Now the next one is about curriculum mapping. Okay. Okay. So at school levels, the curriculum mapping ensures there are no gap and there is no unnecessary repetitions of this particular topic. So it aligns with the objectives, the teaching, the assessment, and also the time. Okay, so when these are aligned, student achievement improves significantly. So curriculum mapping is a process or a procedure that follows curriculum designing. Okay, so this is done before curriculum implantation. So before implementation, we have to give this. So it is done by teachers along with a group of other teachers of same subject, maybe with the same department or the whole school even can work with the curriculum mapping. Okay. So why school needs it? For example, curriculum mapping is very important. So we use this curriculum mapping at the beginning of every term, right? So we can write the curriculum mapping using the following points like what do my student learn? What do they study in the first quarter, in the second quarter? What are they studying in the school throughout the year? Do my co-teachers who handle the same subject cover the same topic? Okay, or they are following the similar strategies. This avoid sometimes one teacher may give extra content, other may not give that extra content. It may cause some confusions, right? This can avoid such kinds of confusions when you go along with your parallel teacher or co-teacher. How do I help my students understand the connections between my subject and other subject within the year? So cross curriculum is also very important in designing the curriculum. Okay. Okay, then academic alignment. So this is called as a golden triangle. So you can see the alignment triangle involves objectives, assessment, learning activities. So this model highlights the importance of constructive alignment in lesson planning. Okay. Effective teaching happens when all the three components you see work together. So objective, it starts with a learning goal, and then assessment. We have to check what you expect from the learners, how you are going to measure that. And then the last one, learning activities and instructional materials, is that it is designed to help the students to achieve the objective, and it also help you to teach with a purpose. Okay. So these are all very important. Okay. So which area do teachers most often plan first? Activities, objectives, or assessment? Okay. Which one do you plan more often first? Activities or objectives or assessment?
Objective, ma'am.
Activities and objectives, ma'am.
Activities and objectives. Okay. So you give starter with an activity and then you introduce the objective. Okay. That's a good
Yes,
idea.
ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, fine. Some practical steps for the schools. Okay, so how we can design this curriculum? First, at the start of the year, we have to map the yearly plan. I hope you all have a yearly plan of your subject. So in the yearly plan, we will have what we are going to teach in term 1 and then term 2. Then we are going to break that into unit plans. For example, if there are 12 units, I'm going to break 6 units for term 1 and 6 for the term 2. Now here I'm going to break the unit plans. Like in the first time, I have 6 units. So among the 6 units, how I'm going to segregate and teach them. Okay. And then I'm going to link each lesson to the learning outcomes. Okay. This is very important. Then align the assessment with the learning outcomes and then review every term wise. This is what is the summative assessment, and then refine them. And at the end, I will check the results of the students by using some data analysis. And then I try with some continuous improvement of the children by using some remedial measures, some remedial classes or 0-hour classes, anything you wish, you can do it. Okay. Then assessment and evaluation strategies. Okay. So there are 3 types of assessment. CBSE is strongly empathizing. These are all competency-based assessment, and the type of assessment are diagnostic, formative, and then summative. I hope you all know what is diagnostic assessment, right? This is like before teaching. You are identifying the gaps in the student and you are knowing what is their previous knowledges about that topic. Okay. This is done during the teaching or before teaching. And then formative is during the learning process. You may give some group discussion topics, or you can give some think, pair, share topic, give some oral questions, any quiz related questions. So when you do these kinds of formative assessment during each session of your teaching, it will improve your teaching, and you will also know where is your learner standing. Okay. Then the last one is summative assessment. This is to evaluate the overall progress of the student at the end of the unit or at the end of the term. Okay. Therefore, our questions must move beyond recall to include application, analysis, real life situations, and also some case-based questions. Okay, which is very popular now in CBSE. Assessment should also guide the teaching, not just to measure the learning. Okay. So it's like assessment is also for us. Okay. Okay. Some recommended practices by CBSE is giving competency-based question. I hope you all know what is competency-based, right? It is often aligned with real life task, and it measures the mastery of the children over that specific topic, right? So the purpose of this assessment is to assess what students can do, not just what they know. Okay. And the second one is case-based. So this present the real world scenarios. Okay. Like as I have already told in the Bloom's taxonomy, like analysis, reasoning, decision making, higher order thinking questions, right? So all these are case-based questions, especially problem solvings are case-based questions. Then the next important is rubric-based assessment. So here, this ensures a very transparency in the assessment. This helps students to understand the expectations. Okay, for example, I can make a rubric for my projects. For example, content 4 mark, creativity 4 mark, presentation 4 mark, like that. I can make some rubrics. So the purpose of rubric is to make assessment very fair and objective. Okay, so that student cannot come and climb you. Ma'am, you gave only this much mark, right? So because we have a rubric, we can show to the children, see, your presentation is only up to this level. So I have given you 3 marks. So rubric prevents the confusion among the children about the marking schemes. Okay. Then the next one is peer and self-assessment. This you know already. We are doing it. So especially in higher grades, students they evaluate their own and peer work, and it builds a reflection and responsibility. Then it also promotes, some metacognitive skills. Student can use a checklist to review the partner's work, and also the purpose of this is to develop the independent learners. Okay, and the last one is portfolio assessment. This is the collection of the student work over time. For example, projects. We are doing it in biology, physics, as well as in chemistry labs, right? So even in lower classes, we are doing some collecting ideas from the science journal or writing notes about some important topic. This shows that the assessment is like very holistic and it is longitudinal, right? Okay. So this is one case-based question, an example. So here, based upon the RIA's condition, explain why breathing rate increases during exercise, which organ system is primarily responsible for meeting this increased demand. Okay, so here in this question, you can see there is application, analysis, and cause-effect reasoning is also there, right? Okay. And remember, assessment should not be an event at the end. It should be a process that continuously informs learning. Okay. Okay. So which of these assessment strategies are you already using in your classroom?
Ma'am,
Ma'am.
we are using competency-based questions, case-based questions,
Okay.
and even rubrics.
Oh,
Also, we
that's
are using.
amazing.
Ma'am,
Okay.
in primary level, we are using portfolio assessment and rubric based also.
Oh, very nice. You can also try with portfolio, okay, for any topics of your choice that provoke an interest about doing some projects, okay. Especially with high level learners, we can try with portfolio questions.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, portfolio assessment I have followed when I was doing research and referral paper for children from grade
Oh,
4 to 7. So that
that's
was also
amazing.
quite interesting, and children usually come so with so much of curiosity in exhibiting and doing their projects in a different way. That too,
Oh,
when they present, no, they will not have any restrictions in presenting their ideas. They'll
mhm.
come with different kind of ideas like pop on point presentations,
Yeah,
project like no booklet. They used to do a role play,
very good.
and
Yeah.
they'll make a
So,
blog.
ma'am, you are doing a very good holistic learning atmosphere for the children. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. That's so amazing to have such kind of educators in this platform.
There is a question, Monica ji, in the chat box.
Yeah, ma'am.
How to do competency-based questions?
Okay. So, how to do competency-based questions? Yeah, competency-based questions are based upon the Bloom's taxonomy, as I have already told, no? So, it has predict, explain, and also you give a situation to the student and ask some questions based upon that. So children will use their prior knowledge on that topic and then they will try to answer that. You can also use some real world application questions in the competency based questions. Okay. So case based are also one type of competency based questions we are using. So most of the competency based questions are like application oriented questions. So instead of asking some direct questions, which are like lower order thinking, you can go with some high level. Maybe you can ask to classify something, or you can ask a reason for something, right? So give a reason why photosynthesis happen in plants. So instead of asking directly what is photosynthesis, you can ask a reason for that, right? So these are all some competency based questions. Okay, you can include. Usually, competency based questions are given with some case-based questions like this, what I have shown here. Okay, so here you can see application, analysis, case effect reasoning, cause effect reasoning are also checked here. Okay.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Regarding this art integration projects we have and cross-curricular projects also we used to give it for the children. Whether it can be included in the portfolio as an assessment?
Yeah, definitely you can include, ma'am, because portfolio assessments are also checking the skills of the learners. So art is like, you give a lot of projects on art. Maybe you can give some topics on art, and every children they think in a unique way, right? So these kinds of project integrations are absolutely integrated in a student portfolio as a part of the assessment. It's a smart and professional way also to frame it. So this shows, demonstrates some critical thinking, problem solving, and shows some reflection of collaboration. Sometimes you can give this art integration projects along with a group. Maybe three children can do this topic, three children can do the other topic. Maybe you can do with a collaboration. So this can improve the communication skills of the student also, and this encourages the reflection, like what the children has learned you can assess through the portfolio. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so then designing some good questions. Okay, so as you have already asked me how we can make this competency based questions. So competency based questions are higher order thinking. It involves application. They have to apply their knowledge. They have to analyze. Okay, this is also very important, like problem solving, and then using some real life context. Okay, so what they are learning, we should also incorporate it with the real life examples so that student can understand that very effectively. Then some data interpretation. This is very popular nowadays. For example, you can see this question here. A group of students measured the heart rate of a person at different times during the exercise. The results are shown. Okay, time, heart rate is shown. Explain why. Yes, sir.
It's okay,
Okay,
Monica ji.
explain.
You can continue.
Okay, so explain why heart rate increases during the exercise. So this is like application. Only if they know the reason why heart rate increases during exercise, they are able to answer this, right? So this is also a competency-based question here. Then calculate the increase in the heart rate from the rest to 6 minutes. Okay, so this is like they have to calculate the increase. So these are all some solving questions, right? They are all competency-based questions. Student has to use their knowledge of the topic and then they have to apply there and answer these questions. Okay, so these are all some important good questions you can design for the students. Okay. Okay, and the last important thing is technology integration in teaching. So nowadays teachers are becoming techies, right? Post-COVID era, teachers are becoming techie, and technology is a powerful enabler. Okay, and it should be used purposefully. Why technology matters is because it increases the engagement, supports differentiation. Because some children, only if they see, they can realize what is that, right? And there are also some tactile learners. When they touch only, they will recognize, okay, what is that topic is, they will understand then. Okay, so it provides an instant feedback. Okay, and it also enable blended learning. Sometimes I like the online classes for some topics in biology because it shows a very good live board and children can realize what is actually happening. For example, if I show them this is methane, they cannot know like how methanes are, the hydrogen in the carbon is bonded to the methane, at what degree, what angle it is bonded. But if you show that picture in a 3D library, children can actually understand how this methane is actually, right? So but important thing is remember, while you are incorporating the technology, pedagogy should be kept in mind first. And technology is second. Sometimes when you are using technology, Google is like a garbage. You see a lot of things in the Google. And do not put everything into your classes. Okay, that will confuse the student. So keep always pedagogy first and technology second. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so for teaching, some of the important practical tools that we are using nowadays is PPT, simulations, virtual labs, videos. I hope you are all using this, right? Simulations we use especially for some experiments which we cannot do in the laboratory because of lack of resources. And also some things like acids are not available in the laboratory, maybe because there is a strict restriction to use those things, right? So for those, we can use simulations. And then for assessments, we can use Google Forms. I am sure you are all aware of this, Quizzes, Kahoot. And for collaboration, you can use Padlet. This you can use, install in your tablet and use this. Then Jamboard, Google has a very good version of Jamboard. You can use it. And also Mentimeter is also used nowadays. Okay, fine. So keep pedagogy first, and second is technology. Okay. So an effective curriculum. Okay. Okay. So I would like to conclude with this thought. An effective curriculum gives direction. It drives instruction for the lesson planning, and also, but effective teachers, they brings the learning to the life. Okay. Now I have a small question for you all again. So who are the key stakeholders in the curriculum development?
Ma'am, it's C. Teachers, students, parents, and administrators.
Yeah, so it is not only teachers, it is the teachers, students, parents, and administrators. So once the teacher make a curriculum mapping, it should be checked by the administrators also. If the administrators are not aware of what the teacher is going to do for the students, okay, so the planning is waste that time, okay. So for teachers, we have to plan with learning outcomes first and use the active learning strategies. Okay, a lot of activities, and then include some formative checks, some formative assessment in between the teaching, and differential teaching strategies for the students. And then the reflection after each lessons, we can check using some assessments, what I have showed you. Okay. How often should lesson plans be reviewed? This is especially for the administrators. Daily, weekly, monthly, or never?
Ma'am, actually, it should be reviewed every day because uh, uh, usually it is weekly, ma'am, but every day we need to review it before we go for the session. Without a proper session plan, we cannot execute or no complete the effective learning outcome in the class.
Yeah, exactly. So when I was working as a coordinator of science, I don't get daily time, but what I do is I review it weekly. Okay, so every week we sit at one particular time in one place where all our science department will review our lesson plan. Sometimes we also do peer reviewing the lesson plan. At the same time, we can also share some activities while conducting meeting. We do not know who will have a better activity. Even the freshers who are coming new to the teaching can have a good idea. So we can collect new ideas for these activities. We can also talk about some challenging students during this lesson plan making session. And we can share some topics which are very complicated and how we can break that into subtopics and teach. So many things we can discuss during lesson plan making. And also regarding this observation, every day administrator cannot go and look into all the teachers' class, but at least weaving a lesson plan a weekly basis is very important. And also observations can be done without giving a prior notice to the teachers. So we will know what is the progress of the teachers actually in the class. Are they achieving their learning outcomes or not? Are their lesson plan is aligning the curriculum or not? All these things we can check. Okay. Okay, this is for the school leaders. School leaders have to conduct lesson plan audits at least a weekly basis and then provide feedbacks, what improvement can be done. And while giving the feedback, this is very essential. When you start giving the feedback, don't immediately give like you are not good in this. When you give a negative feedback at first, it will lose a hope on you, and later the teachers will not like to hear what is your feedback is. So always start with a positive note when you give any feedback. And also, while giving a negative feedback, make it personalized. Give only to the teacher, not in front of everyone. So it makes the teacher more embarrassing. Okay. Then organize some meeting. Okay. And also, it can ensure the curriculum mapping is there, whether the student is, whether the teachers are teaching according to the curriculum map which is given, and then support the teacher training. Okay, so this is not done in most of the schools, but nowadays we have capacity building programs for subject teachers and other teachers to build their competency level. And also nowadays CBSE has put a strict rule that at least a teacher who is teaching a higher level, maybe higher secondary, should have at least completed 50 hours of this program. So many schools are also supporting with OD, okay, and also giving cash for this for attending these trainings. Okay, so yes, we have completed our sessions. I would like to show some sample templates of the lesson plans which we usually do in a CBSE. Okay, so at first, while making a lesson plan, so these are the basic information, right? We will be giving. Like we write the subject, grade, topic, duration, date, and also the teacher's name. And then we write the learning objectives. As you know, it should be SMART, okay? So it could be not more than 3, okay? And also use some Bloom's work like explain, analyze, compare, design, solve, okay? While making a learning objective. And then prior knowledge. So this is the starter activity where you are checking the prior knowledge of the students by giving some questions or any thing to solve there, okay? Then the next one is teaching learning progress. So this is the place where you engage, explain, guide them with the practice, then giving them independent practice. And then where you're checking the levels of the teacher activity, student activity, the resources that it is required, and what is the time you took for this process. Okay, should also be mentioned because time is very crucial in a lesson plan. A lesson plan should be time bound. Okay. Then the differentiation strategy is like this is for the struggling learners, for the advanced learners, for the mixed ability learners. Okay, so for the struggling learners, for example, you are giving one activity in a day. For the advanced learners, they will complete that activity, they will wait for the second activity. You can give 2 activities for the advanced learners so that when the other learners have completed, the advanced learners will also do some other activity instead of sitting simply. Okay, and also for the mixed learners. So these mixed learners, they have a mixed capability. They are mostly average learners. So for them, you can guide them with some practice to make them as an advanced learner. And sometimes what I do in my classes, mostly the struggling learners who are like more reluctant coming to the schools. So with those learners, I pair them up with the advanced learners. So when the advanced learners are teaching them, they can easily solve their doubts, and this makes them more socialized. And the advanced learners becomes more proficient with that topic, and the struggling learners can also learn with the aid of the advanced learner. So these kinds of things you can do in the differentiation strategies to help with the different types of learners in your classroom. Then the last one.
Anyone wants to share anything with us for lesson planning? What you do exactly in the class? Kausalya ji, Anita ji, you want to share something?
Ma'am, actually,
भी हमें ऐसे
I
समझाते
have an
हैं
assembly.
और
Okay.
हाँ मैम बोल
Yeah, Anita
दीजिए,
ji.
आप बोल दीजिए।
Yeah, please tell
हाँ
ma'am.
मैम, जैसे कि अभी मैम ने बताया, तो हमारे यहाँ भी एडवांस मिक्स्ड और चैलेंजिंग, तो उनके लिए हम अलग अलग प्रकार से डिजाइन करते हैं और अलग स्ट्रेटेजी फॉलो कर एक्टिविटीज थोड़ी डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज होती थी,
Yeah,
एडवांस
that's a
होती
good question. Yeah, that's a good question, ma'am. So what I do is I plan a worksheet
कॉन्फिडेंस
like
है वो
3.
बना रहे।
Sorry, I don't understand.
Hindi.
Yeah.
Monica ji, Anita ji wants to say she plans the lesson plan as per the student. Yeah,
यस
Okay.
मैम,
ठीक है
एंड
अनीता जी, ठीक
वर्कशीट
ठीक ठीक।
वर्कशीट Worksheet also.
Worksheet.
Yeah, worksheet
Worksheet
also.
also. She
Yes.
plans
Yes, ma'am.
she
See, for
plans
the
her lesson
students,
plan and worksheet as per the students, whether they
yeah.
are advanced or standard, है ना? Am I right, Anita ji?
यस मैम, यस मैम। और लास्ट टाइम जो आपका सेशन था उसमें जो क्वेश्चन पेपर डिजाइन करने का तरीका बताया था मैम, तो वो भी बहुत अच्छा लगा आइडिया। हमने हमारी प्रिंसिपल मैम को शेयर किया था ये, कि इस प्रकार हम क्वेश्चन पेपर भी अलग अलग करेंगे, डिजाइन करेंगे, तो बच्चों का जो है
Okay.
मनोबल वो बना रहेगा, उनको सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस बना रहेगा।
Thank you,
लास्ट
Anita
वाला
ji.
सेशन मैम बहुत
Thank
अच्छा
you.
था। ओके,
Okay, okay. Thank you,
थैंक यू
Anita.
मैम।
Thank you, Anita. Yeah, Kaushalya ji, you want to say something? Shreya ji, please
Yes,
stop
ma'am.
scribbling on the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I have shared my lesson plan copies with you, ma'am, in WhatsApp. So, in the previous session, when we had a meeting with another ma'am,
Skill
I was
building,
telling
when
about
you have joined for short-term course. Okay.
yes, ma'am. So, I have shared it with you, ma'am.
In the group you have shared, Kaushalya ji?
No,
Or
ma'am. No, ma'am. Individually, I have shared, ma'am.
okay, okay, fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone or any other suggestions from anyone regarding the lesson planning?
I have
Ma'am,
a doubt, ma'am. Monica, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, please tell.
Regarding this 5E model of lesson planning, so in this 5E model of lesson planning is this 5E model can be implemented for single chapter, but when it comes with session, whether all these E can be accommodated in a session plan, is there any possibility, ma'am? Like,
Yeah, we have to incorporate the 5E model. So if you are choosing this 5E model, I would say that it should be incorporated in a single period in a single lesson. Okay,
okay,
even for a complete chapter you can do, or for a unit plan you can do. It depends upon your time also. Okay. So you can split the timings. Like for each E model, you can give 5 minutes, 10 minutes like that. For example, if your class is for 40 minutes, you can give engage session, not more than 5 minutes, right? That's a
okay,
starter session. Then explore is like maybe 10 minutes. Like that, you can split it. Okay, your 45 minutes period. So I usually give 5 minutes for engage session. Explore session is like 10 minutes where I give some activity. And then explain session is like 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that, because it becomes more of lecture, right? So
ma'am,
during
please
that,
show that slides. No, please show
yeah,
that slides thoroughly, as I can take a screenshot.
yeah,
The
I
sure.
become
recording,
late near
uh,
about half an hour. I
yeah.
become late.
What's your name, by the way? Because your name is not
Ravindra
there.
Mali.
Yeah,
Ravindra
Mr.
Mali.
Mali, I will share the recording in the group. You can see from
Okay, okay.
there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then no need.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So after explain session, teacher will do some clarifications on that concept, which is not more than 10 to 15 minutes. Then elaborate is like only 10 minutes, where you will be asking some questions, maybe a formative assessment or an exit ticket, like we have discussed earlier. And then evaluate, you can give a quick quiz or ask some oral questions or do some misconception checks, all these things. That will not take more than 5 minutes. So on an average, if you have a 40 to 45 minutes period, you can incorporate all the 5E into a single period plan. Okay.
yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Fine.
Yeah, Anita
Yes,
ji,
ma'am. Yes, please tell, ma'am. Yes, please tell.
you are not audible, Anita
एग्जिट
ji.
टिकट, एग्जिट। यस मैम, मेरे वहाँ थोड़ा नेटवर्क इशू रहता है मैम। बीच में मैंने पूछा था ना एग्जिट टिकट का, तो उस समय एकदम से समझ में नहीं आया। लेकिन मैं भी ये शेयर करना चाहूंगी कि जब मैं जो भी पढ़ाती हूँ उसके बाद जब मैंने बच्चे से पूछा कि मैंने ये क्यों करवाया, मैम कल एक बच्चे ने बहुत अच्छा जवाब दिया। ऋषिता वैद्य 5th C की बच्ची, मैंने उससे पूछा कि बेटा मैंने ये एक्टिविटी करवाई, तो वो बच्चे ने लिख के दिया कि मैम आपने ये एक्टिविटी इसलिए करवाई
Monica ji, I will
कि
translate later on in
माइंड में
English. Okay. Anita ji, you are not audible. Please,
ओके
can you come in the network area? Little bit in network area.
Okay,
Yeah,
ma'am.
please.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are a little bit audible
Ma'am,
now.
now am I audible?
Yes, yes.
ओके मैम, मैं शेयर करूंगी आपको वो। मैम, मैं वो बच्चे का टिकट जो है, एग्जिट टिकट आपने जो नाम दिया उस एक्टिविटी का, मैं वो शेयर दूंगी आपको।
Yeah, fine. Share in the group. Okay, share in the
Okay.
Yeah,
group.
yeah, sure, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Yeah, Monica ji, can we
Okay.
carry on or it's done now?
Yeah, it's done. And the last one is closure. Okay, this is like the student can summarize any topic, the topic, and then where they will give the key points. Okay, so this has some key takeaway questions also. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe by mistake they switch on the
Okay.
yeah.
Then teacher reflection. So post all the lesson is over. Okay, this is very important. What worked well, what needs improvement, whether the student need any student needs support. So this also the student should write next to their lesson plan after every topic of their lesson plan to know about themselves. Okay, how they can improve their teaching. Okay, and then this is for the administrators. For the classroom observation where they can do some rubrics like this and then
Just a minute. Are you showing some screen or some slides?
yeah, I'm showing it, ma'am.
Because we can't see anything. The thank you slide is there only.
Okay, wait. Sorry.
After thank you, you have to summarize everything because there is no
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah, sure, I will do it.
Yeah.
You're able to see, right?
Yeah, now this is a standard CBSE lesson plan.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
standard CBSE lesson plan where you will give the basic information like this, and then you will be framing not more than 3, okay, learning outcomes. It should be SMART, as we have already discussed. It should have measurable, specific, achievable goals with time bound, okay. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to, okay, compare plant, taproot and fibrous root, something like that, using the Bloom's work, like explain, analyze, compare, identify, design, solve, okay, all these words. I usually give 1 or 2, not more than that. Sometimes we may not able to achieve all the learning outcomes, okay? Then prior knowledge. This is a starter activity where we are checking the previous knowledge of the student without introducing the topic. If you introduce the topic, as I have already told you, the curiosity will be lost. So with this prior knowledge questions, you are building the curiosity among the children. So students will find what the topic you are going to teach. Okay. This was very crucial. This should not be more than 5 minutes. Then you cannot complete the lesson within that time. So time management is very important. And then during the teaching learning process, you are engaging the students, you are explaining and giving some activity, assisting the students through guided practice, and then independently making the students to practice at home for self-evaluation. Now, during this activity, you have to write what is the activity you're going to do for engagement, for explanation. For explanation, for example, you're going to do some videos, you write their video, and also the link may be near to that. Okay, for guided practice, what kind of activity you're going to give along with the children you're going to do, that also you write there. Then student activity, like what the student did, and then the resources that you used. Okay, you can also write that there. When you plan these things, it's very important to write the resources there so that when you start the lesson, you will not struck there without resources. You will be ready with the resources. Okay. And then time is also important. So when you set the time there, make sure you are completing each and every is within that particular time. Okay. Then the next one is differentiation strategies. This is very important because in the classroom we have different types of learners. Not everyone is competent. There are struggling learners, mixed ability, and some more advanced learners, right? So for the advanced learners, I usually give 2 worksheets or give worksheet with a lot of competency-based questions. For the struggling learners, I reduce the competency-based questions and just give some lower order thinking questions. Sometimes I also pair up the advanced learners with the struggling learners. So most of the struggling learners, they are reluctant coming to the schools. They don't like schools, right? So for those learners, I make them more socialized with advanced learners by pairing them up. When you pair them up with the advanced learners, actually these advanced learners can aid the understanding of the struggling learners in particular topic. And it promotes healthy discussion among them, and it helps with the learning of the struggling learners. With this activity, we can also make the advanced learners even more proficient with that particular topic. Then for the mixed learners, these children are like, they learn one time, they never learn one time. So we have to keep the curiosity and the interest in these kinds of mixed learners by using some mixed kind of instruction, by using kinesthetic activity, videos, or even some hands-on experiments you can give for these mixed ability learners. Okay. So these type of differentiation you have to plan in a lesson plan when you're doing that. Okay. Then assessment. So these are some of the assessment, formative assessment we do after teaching or during the session also. Like you can ask oral questions, give some worksheets, make sure the worksheet is not very big. You cannot complete within the stipulated time. Worksheet should also be very short so students can complete within that stimulated time. Exit ticket is one of the best way where you can find whether the students have learned it well or not, or understood it well or not, or whether they have any misconception or not. Okay. And then quiz questions. You can also give some quiz questions through Google Forms, or if the student have access to any tablets, you can give Kahoot. They are very interactive, right? And also peer assessment. In case if you're not able to correct all the papers within that short time, you can ask the peers to share the papers, and then they can assess the paper and they can find what the mistake their friend has made. So this will also avoid the confusion about that particular topic. Okay. And then last one is the closure. Here you summarize the key points. Not you, it is the learner. Okay, so you are going to randomly pick up the learner, make them to talk about the key points they have learned that day. It should not be more than 5 minutes also. And during a closer session, you can also give any kind of activity, a short activity. Maybe you can give some cards where it can be given like what you learned today, what you want to learn, things like that, right? So such kinds of questions can also be asked in a closer sessions. And then this is independent learning. This is you do session, which is homework and extension. Okay, so based upon the student level also you can make the homeworks or give the homeworks. Okay. Then post lesson teacher reflection is also very important. Okay, so what worked well during the lesson, what portion needs improvement, and which student needs improvement or support. Okay, so all these things you can write in your reflection post the lesson. And writing this reflection is very important. Do not ignore, because the time when you go to the next class, you will forget what happened in the previous class. Okay. Then this is for the principals, HODs, coordinators, class observation tool. I hope you are all using this. This is like a rubric system where you can use the indicators to, plan and check the preparation of the students, the teachers. Here, the lesson objectives are clearly stated by the teacher, whether the objectives have competency-based questions, or whether it is aligned with the curriculum or going away from the topic, then whether the teaching aids were prepared, the resources are used well, all these things, indicators, you can plan in the rubrics and you can go to the classroom. And also during the classroom process, whether a starter is used, students are participating, hard questions are given, activity is based upon the learning, or activity is diverting from the learning, then differentiation is evident or not. All these things you can use as an indicator. Whether formative assessment used, teacher checks understanding of the students or not, and feedback is given to the student soon after the assessment or not, or assessment is aligned to the learning objective or not. Okay. Then classroom environment. Is it making a positive classroom climate? Whether students are sitting well and listening, or they are engaging in a good group discussion. So all these positive classroom environment we can check. Also the organization of the charts, how well the classroom is organized, how the children are seated, whether they are doing anything apart from learning or not. All these kinds of classroom climate you can observe. And whether the time is managed well. As you have already asked me, whether we can incorporate all the 5E into the classroom or not. So all these time management can be checked. Then use of technology, if relevant or not. We know that pedagogy first, technology second. Okay. So based upon all these things, all the criteria we checked, we can give an overall rating for the teacher upon that particular lesson, whether it is outstanding, good, or needs support. Then you write your comment there. Okay. So that's all about my seminar. I hope you liked it. So
Any
anything more
questions
you would
from
like to
anyone?
add? Yeah.
Any query, any questions from anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Monica ji,
Fine.
I think we are done with the questions also.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Monica ji, for your time and efforts and for such an interactive webinar.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.